Okay, so yeah, we're going to talk about conversation frameworks, and this is a long study that, Brian would probably be better at teaching this class than me. But basically what I've done is I saw Phil Jones, the guy who wrote the book Exactly What to Say, in person, and he gave a great speech that had part of this framework. And then I saw him this year, and he gave another part of it. And then I read his newest book that had another part of it. And so I've basically taken through the different times that I've got to see him and the different books of him that I've read, he doesn't really ever give you the whole thing at once, because then I guess why would you need to buy his next book or whatever? But I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you the whole breakdown from what I've gathered from seeing multiple speeches of his. And it's amazing. I bet as I do this, you're all going to say, oh, I already do that. Like in the things that I use, that works. And then you'll start to see that there's a larger framework that you can start to plug this into. I hope that you will be able to see this online. I'll write big, but my handwriting is really messy and my spelling is worse. So I'll kind of just tell you what's on here. So we're gonna do one of his tactics with this class. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to tell you about. I'm going to tell you it, and then at the end, I'm going to tell you that I told you about it. So that right there is one of the main tactics that he'll use, and you'll see it comes up in here. So I'm going to give you this framework. I'm going to break it down and give you how to use each individual part, how it works together, and then we're going to actually practice it a little bit as we're going through it, okay? So the exactly what to say questions, they'll be used pretty much throughout the whole thing, but you'll see where they can be used a lot more in certain sections. So if you're taking notes, this is the part that you want to take notes on. So this is what you want for your acronym. It is OFQ, P, PF, W, W. Hopefully that comes through for the people. If not, yeah, a little bit. I can see it on the screen there. OFQ, PPF, WW. And I break it up like this on purpose. You'll see why in a minute here. So, OFQ, we're going to start with that. This is how you're going to start your conversation or your sales pitch. Here, do me a favor. Actually, I'm not going to do it this way. I'm not going to make it easy on you. We're going to go piece by piece. And then we're going to come around to something at the end that my agents at least are going to be like, wow, okay, I already used this. Okay, so OFQ stands for opening, fact, question. This is how you're going to start every conversation that you have with a sales conversation or a new person that you're meeting. And the opening for almost all of us is going to be the same for regulation reasons. So what's your opening going to sound like, Karen, if you're calling a lead?
Hello, this is Karen Metzger from Elwood Realty, KW, Vermont.
That's right. So let's just stop right there. That's a great opening, and we kind of have to do that because of licensing laws and everything. We got to say, this is my company, this is who I am. But that's the goal of your opening is, who are you? Who are you? Who are you with? So you probably have custom closets, do a similar one, something like that. And the one thing I will say is you can't really go too crazy here with the openings, but an important thing to remember is people are going to be making a decision in the first 10 to 15 seconds whether or not they're going to do business with you, whether or not they're even going to continue the conversation with you or just click. So some pattern interrupts can be powerful here. If you just get it down to the point where you say, hi, this is Cole with Stronghold Real Estate, or hi, this is Cole with Elwood Real Estate at KW Vermont. It's just monotone, fast, robotic. They might think you're a robot. They might think that you're a recorded call, and it's less likely that they're going to think you're a person. So having some pause, something that makes you a little human, maybe even, mixing up your words a little bit, will help. I'll give you one example from another salesperson who trains lots of people to sell. In their openings, what they did was they said, "Hi, this is Cole. Oh, hold on a second. My cat just knocked over my coffee on my computer. I got to clean this up. One second. Hold on." And just by doing that, their conversion rates tripled. Okay? So I'm not saying pretend you have a cat that's knocking over coffee, but just know that when you can interrupt that pattern of, hey, this is a normal sales call, even in a little way, you're going to get a lot more conversations and your conversions are going to go up.
So I tried that with spilling something.
Yeah.
4 or 5 people, and I tended to just confuse them.
Yeah.
And then, but some of them liked it, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of, you could just hear them let their guard down. Like,
Yep.
okay, you know.
Yeah, it makes you a real person, right?
Exactly.
Makes you a real person. And so I'm not saying that you have to do it to that extent, but definitely something, even just a little stutter in your words, will humanize you and make you not feel like this is a sales call. Okay, so opening. Now we get to the tricky part. A fact, and it's not just any fact, it's a shared fact. So it's a fact that both you and the person that you're talking to would agree on. So say, Kathy, you're calling somebody that you haven't talked to yet. What's your opening and what's a shared fact that you think that they would agree with? I like to look at it as a fact that clarifies why I'm calling. My agents, if I throw it to them, they're going to just give this whole thing away because they know. We've practiced this before. Yeah. Brian, what do you think? If you're calling a recruit, what's your opening? What's a shared fact that they would agree to?
My opening is, hey, it's Brian Armstrong calling from Keller Williams, Vermont. Wow. What a great day to be alive. You know, I'm looking for that, you know, because they may not agree with that.
Yeah. Well, actually, Brian, I just had 2 deals termed today, so I don't agree with that. So what's something that they could not disagree with?
That I talk too fast.
Okay, that's good. That's
you know,
good.
like, so when I've stumbled in my words at times, I'm like, well, if I could actually use the English language, what I've been meaning to say is, you know.
So here, let's take it a step further. Let's say, do you do any internet leads, Kathy?
Yeah, totally. We get a ton of leads from Google.
Okay, so say a lead just came in from Google. Mm-hmm. What's a shared fact when you first call that person?
Well, it looks like it's the season for mudrooms. It sounds like you're interested in talking about your bedroom.
Yeah, no, this is all good stuff. And that's a great fact that some people will share and other people will say, what is she talking about?
Well,
I was calling about a closet.
Or something,
Yeah.
You know, like whatever they are talking about.
But this is the way that we want to start thinking about it. What is a fact that they could not disagree with?
This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Berrytown?
Yeah, that is one for sure. Does that say why you're calling them?
Well, I mean, usually I would lead with you had interest in, so I was...
Oh, well, so now we're on to another fact. Do they have interest in the place?
For me, with my leads, yes, because I don't do cold calls and things like that, so I do like the Facebook posting on that lead.
Yeah.
So if they've gone to that point that it comes back to me, they were interested in that property.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. Just because I call you about a property, does that mean that I'm interested in it?
You're interested in it in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not for yourself, maybe for a friend. Maybe you have a question about why the window is crooked. I don't know, but there's some interest there.
Okay.
You're not going to, I don't know. I mean, I don't particularly give my information if I don't have an interest.
Yeah. So what's a different way that we could say this where it'd be something that person would agree with still?
You know, if it was me, I was doing a cold recall for recruiting. I should say, hey, it's Brian Armstrong with Keller Williams, and let me guess. Last thing you wanted to do today was take somebody who wants to recruit. You know, take a phone call from somebody who wants to recruit.
So opening your fact, remember your pattern interrupts, and then we get to the question, okay? What are some good questions we can ask when we have this initial conversation with somebody to maximize our chances that they're not going to just say no, hang up. Well, let's hold off on what we say because I've trained you on this, right? So if nobody has anything else.
Heather's model of your information was on my website. You could ask, did you put it there?
Great. That's great, right? What I will say is the more direct you are like that, the more no's you're going to get, especially no's when there could have been some yeses. The best thing to work here, taking it way back to the beginning of our conversation, what kind of questions do you think are going to work best here? Open-ended, that's right, or multiple choice, which is a good one to use in lieu of open-ended. The reason why multiple choice work well is because they are not open-ended questions, but they have the same effect. They have multiple answers, and none of those answers are no. Okay? So before we get to how we do it and apply it to how some of you could, does anybody else have any ideas of what they could use for a question next?
Well, in our world, which is different, I don't think that I get the best response
Yeah.
all the time. I just say, tell me about your project, and then it
Yeah.
can go in it could get awkward, or the person
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
start talking. But I don't think that's the best.
So tell me about your project is heading in the right direction, right? Because it's similar to a tell me more that isn't an open-ended question, but it still is a question that's not easily answered no.
Yeah,
Unless they say, I have no projects.
yeah, I like we decided on it.
Yep. So think about what you just said. What's a way that you could put it into like a multiple choice situation?
Are you planning a new closet or just thinking about it?
That's a great one.
Yeah? Or are you going to be doing a closet or some cabinets or a new mudroom?
Yeah, get more specific about this.
Well, again, you're just giving them multiple choices.
Yeah.
And none of those choices are no.
Yeah, I do like that.
None of those choices are no, I'm not interested.
Or maybe some of those choices that we throw out there are things they haven't thought about.
Exactly. And here, I'll give it away. Karen, what do we say once we get to that point?
Say, are you looking to move or just browsing?
So that's our either or of, yeah.
It's so easy for them to say, oh, just browsing. They think
Yeah.
they're getting out of it.
And then we say,
Now you're a serious
What
buyer.
I'm browsing for.
exactly,
Yeah,
right?
Well, we get those people too. I like that a lot.
You could use the same exact thing. You say, hi, this is Kathy with the Lake Champlain Custom Closets. Oh, hold on a second. My cat just knocked over my monitor. Okay, all right, I'm back. It looks like somebody put your information on our website. Are you looking to do some custom work or were you just browsing?
Yeah.
That's going to go a lot different than, hi, this is Kathy with Lake Champlain. I know that you put your info on my website.
Yeah.
Tell me about the project you want to do. Yeah.
I had a consultant call today and just went into all these things you could do and asked all these questions about the business. And I was like, all due respect, why would I answer any of your questions? I have no idea who you are.
That's right. That's right. And that's what that fact hopefully includes. If you listen to the way we do it, and you would probably want to add this too, Kathy, is it looks like somebody put this information into our real estate website, right? So now they know I have a real estate website. I'm a real estate company. Plus, I also told them I'm so-and-so with so real estate company. If you're more obscure in your type of business, that might not be as easy to just have that in a couple of sentences. But don't worry, we're going to cover those concerns when we get to the next section, actually. So any other...
Yeah, Cole. When I was using that this morning and not realizing it, but I was calling people that I've talked to before.
Yeah.
So my fact over and over was, we talked a few months ago.
That's right.
They did, so they have to agree with that.
How do you disagree with that, Right. You know, we were just using this also. This is a great one if you have people that you've been having trouble getting a hold of. A shared fact that you can use when you leave a message, you know, you've tried them 6 times, still haven't got them. You leave a message saying, hi, this is obviously a bad time for you. Shared fact, they didn't pick up. I'm going to reach out tomorrow at this time. If that's a bad time too, let me know. And now they are either going to get back to you and tell you it's a bad time and great, you got them on the phone, or implicitly they're giving you permission to call them again. So this is very powerful. Okay, great. So any questions on your opening, your fact, your question? That hopefully will win you the first 10 seconds that they're deciding whether or not they're going to have a conversation with you. Okay? Perfect. Any idea what PPF stands for? When I give it to you, it's going to be so obvious. If I give you one of them, you'll get them all. But let me even just tell you this. It has to do with time.
Present, perspective, and fact.
Past.
Present and
Future.
future. Yeah.
Past, present, future. Past, present, future.
Okay, so there's 2 ways that this is going to work. All right? First way is just in this initial conversation, okay? Where it's going to be focused on them. You will see that this whole part is going to be the same way that you not only close them on this appointment that you're about to set, but you're going to use this same thing with a slight variation to close them in person when you actually close on the business, okay? So let's talk about they're on the phone and we're setting the appointment. We are focused on the past, present, and future of their lives, okay? So in real estate, what would that look like?
So have you ever lived in Vermont?
Where do you live now?
Okay, so what time frame are those questions in? They're in this order specifically. We want to do.
In that order.
That's what I was saying, like, have you ever, like, in the past? Yeah. If they tell me they're out of state, I could say, have you ever lived in?
Oh, have you owned before?
Okay,
Have you purchased them before?
okay. So these are all good open-ended questions. How are we going to find out about their past?
Tell me your story.
I like that.
What was your experience with your last agent? That's the past.
Yeah, yeah,
What did you hate about them?
yeah.
When they tell me they hate them.
You may need to sneak in to the present to get back, right? You may need to say, where do you live now?
Yeah.
To then go, how long have you lived there?
Right.
But you could also say, how long you've been looking at homes? How long have you been searching for homes? I do really like the power of where do you live now to then get back to how long have you been there. But really what we're looking for is what is their pain? And this is where it applies for Brian, where it applies for Kathy. What is the pain of why they clicked that button, of why they picked up that phone, of why they walked into that open house, okay? So I'm sure you all know about the pain versus pleasure idea that all sales decisions are made off of. And has anybody heard about decisions with thoughts versus feelings? Which ones come first? Which ones actually dictate a decision?
Feelings
Yeah. Feelings are which one?
first.
Which one makes them actually act? You could argue which one's first, which one's second, but it is the more you look at it, you will see that it is the emotions that are going to make them. Yeah. It's how you act yourself. It's how everybody acts, really. Even the very analytical people there's an emotion. They might need a lot of data to get there to convince their logical self, but there's an emotion that's going to get them to make that decision. There's a certain amount of pain that they're running from and a certain amount of pleasure that they're moving towards. And we obviously use this ethically, but we are just evolutionarily been designed to be much more adverse to the negative than drawn to the positive. And that's where this present and past is so powerful. You got to find out where are they at now, but more importantly, where are they from? So let me give you an even better example. Somebody comes into an open house. Why do you think they're there?
They wanna move.
Okay. They're not there to talk to you?
They're nosy neighbors.
Or they just,
Neighbors in my area.
That's right. That's right. So what's a opening fact question that you could use with them? What do you do right now, Heather?
I welcome them in. I introduce myself.
Here, let's just play it out, right?
Okay.
I'm walking in the door. You're right there.
Hi, welcome. Come on in. Please take your shoes off. My name's Heather. Are you, actually, this is the actual phrase I use. Are you taking a stroll, just a drive through the neighborhood? Are you browsing for a house right now? Are you in the market?
So what's a shared fact that you could add?
That they're there.
Yeah, I like that.
That's why I was like, you're here.
Yeah? Yeah?
That they're interested or they're curious about the house, right?
I had a realtor once say to me when I walked in, "Why did you come to this big house today?"
Hey, pattern interrupt, right? Yeah?
Why did you come to this big, and it sort of implied the fact that I had walked into a great big house.
Yeah, yeah.
So the fact was sort of buried.
Was it actually a small house and they were just kind of pumping it up?
It was big,
Okay.
and she thought I didn't need it.
That's a message I would have gotten too, and I would have been like, okay, I'll just leave them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's actually a very good point that you bring up when you're talking about degree like that, especially if it's our fees. Well, how are we phrasing it? Are we phrasing it as it's going to be $10,000? Or are we saying, man, this is such a great big house? I was like, well, man, I thought that it was smaller than the last two that I saw. Or are we saying, welcome to this house at just 4,000 square feet? Or my fee, you get all of this for just $10,000. Okay? So, yeah, that's a good point, how you frame stuff, especially by degree. Maybe a good shared fact would be, hey, I'm Cole, Elwood Realty, KW. I'm so happy you're coming to see this house today.
I was thinking of saying, like, if it's raining, like, what's got you out in this lousy weather today? Or
So that's a question we could use, right? A good open-ended question.
Shared fact.
or what?
It's really raining out.
Can the fact be a statement about yourself? Like, I'm so excited to talk to you today. They can't really disagree with that because you said you're excited.
Yes, but it's harder to share that.
Yeah.
And that's where I said I'm so happy that you are here viewing this house. Right? Because that's going to be a hard one for them to disagree with when you're in the house, that they are there in the house with you. How could the past and present work with that person that just came in the house?
I'll say, how long have you been looking?
Let's get even more current to the present and the immediate past.
What brought you here today?
Okay.
Where do you live in the, no, that's close-ended.
How did you hear about the open house?
That's okay. I really like where Heather was going.
Where are you headed?
You're just phrasing it, but I already
Yeah.
know that you're heading in the right direction.
Where did you,
What, because it was closed-ended, right? Where do you live? No?
Let me throw you a lifeline.
Yeah.
Where are you driving from?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
how did you hear about the open house?
Where you coming from?
There's a very specific reason why I'm saying, where are you driving from?
Because you want to know where they live.
Right.
Oh, I walked here. I walked here. I'm around the corner.
Right? What are other ways they could answer that?
New Hampshire.
Right. We drove 10 hours.
Yeah, right.
What are other ways they could answer it?
Oh, I didn't.
Staying at the,
Yeah.
I'm staying at the hotel down the street.
We took
We flew in,
yeah.
right? Okay. So, and there's going to be questions like that for you too. I think this would probably be like, you do home shows or anything like that? No?
No, there's one this weekend.
Yeah. Do you do anything that's kind of like public facing, like an open house, or it's all them coming to you?
Here at the office, we don't really, I'm trying to think of a scenario.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I would say when you're here at the office,
Yeah.
then you could probably use some of these tactics of they're coming to you. Okay, so where do you live now? How long have you lived there? What do you like about that house? What would you like to change about that house? And for Brian, it's going to be almost exactly the same thing, except where are you, what brokerage are you with right now?
Choose there, what do you like about it? Closet, you guys may ask that similar questions. What do you love most about your current closet? If you change, one thing, that would make a huge difference.
Yeah, and you're finding that pain in here. Pain's going to be in the present, right? You get their backstory, their background, and this is a lot about building rapport too, right? Actually caring about them, listening to them. We love to play a game on our team called the Never-Ending Question, where you can only ask open-ended questions, and it has to be a question about what they just said. If you've never tried this, I guarantee you will become such a better conversational partner for your husband, for your friends, for the new person that you met, because it forces you to actually listen, actually care. Because how are you going to know what your next question is going to be if it has to be about what they just said, unless you listen to what they just said? It's not as easy as it sounds. We could even play a couple rounds here. No, I won't put you through that. But I would try it. I would try it at some point if you haven't. Okay. Past, present. What are we looking for when we're talking about future?
I like what you were saying, Brian. Is that a good question to say? If you could change one thing about where you live now, what would that be? Like, that could be like the future. What would you change?
Yes?
What would you know?
I agree. I like that one, Brian. Thanks.
So is that about the future or is that about the past?
Both.
I think it's about the future.
Well, it's about the future because you're going to be looking for that one thing in the house that you're going to find for them.
Or is that the thing that I'm going to change to stay in my house?
That's true.
Or is it a bridge between the two of future past? So Cole, understand, what about changing XYZ is important to you? How does that impact you currently? And if you were able to have that, how soon in the future would you want
Yeah.
to change that?
Yeah. Brian, you tell me when you're working with a recruit, when you're talking about their past and their present, what are you really digging into?
I'm digging into pain points. I'm looking for goals, and I'm looking for.
So with pain points, tell me more.
That's actually a great one I use quite a bit. Tell me more about that.
Give me an example of it doesn't have to be a real example or an old example.
Probably say one that probably comes to mind is I don't feel like I'm properly compensated.
Okay.
I believe that the broker I work for gives special packages out,
Okay.
And I just don't think it's fair.
Yeah. And so you're identifying a gap, an opportunity. Okay.
Yep.
and where is the value that you have, where's that going to fit?
If that was something that we could change for you, would you be open to a conversation?
Yeah. I mean, you literally are mapping out what is missing between what they want and what they currently have. And that literally is, if you can, I mean, if it is a good fit between you and this client, then your value is the missing piece there. Okay? So that's really what you want to be thinking about with this past, present, and future is it's pain and pleasure, and it's your value. Their pain plus your value equals their pleasure. Okay? Helping them see that future goal, that future opportunity with you, helping them find that their dream home or get the most for their selling their investment or joining your brokerage or having the new closet so that my husband stops leaving his stupid stuff all over the place, right? Whatever it is, there's a current pain that is the gap, the opportunity that your value is going to create that future for them, okay? Okay, so any questions on the meat of that conversation? Don't worry, we're going to talk about how this actually closes them at the end, okay? All right, so WW stands for what if, and the second W is when. So we get to the point where Brian told me, well, I just don't feel like I'm being compensated properly at my brokerage. And we talked about how my brokerage does offer compensation that he would agree is fair. What if we were able to get that set up for you, Brian, and you were able to make that extra compensation so that you could buy that extra boat and motorcycle that we know you so desperately need? When would be a good time to talk about that? And so, Kathy, if you get to a point with somebody where you do your great opening, your fact, hey, somebody put your info on my website, inquiring about a new closet, are you interested in a new closet or were you just browsing? And they go, no, we were just browsing. Great, what were you browsing for? Well, actually, yeah, we are, this, that, the other thing. You dig into what their house is currently like, how it sucks because the husband keeps throwing his shit all over, and I need to find a solution. Well, it turns out I have that solution. And it's actually going to save my marriage because this is like our biggest fight that we have is about him kicking his shoes, and you're going to make a great thing for all his 20 shoes that he has. When you get to the end, how could you use that WW? What if, when? We're not going to judge you. We're all learning here.
What if, do you kind of repeat back to them? Like, so it sounds like blah, 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 blah. What if we had a product that would solve all of those problems or something along those?
Yeah, that's okay. And then you'd follow it up with?
When can we get together or whatever?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So when I was thinking about this, a lot of what happens sometimes, commonly on the phone when you have that first phone call, they'll say, you know, this is what I want to do. We're looking at for like $5,000, and you know in the back of your mind that that's not probably going to happen for what they're looking for. So I was trying to figure out how to bring in the what if by having them envision how wonderful it is. But then how do you talk yourself through that cost conversation?
So first thing is, I mean, yes, it's very similar to us where we do want to make sure we're not going out on appointments with people that are unrealistic, that are not ready, willing, and able. So you do want to have a little bit of validating the prospect, you know, pre-qualifying the prospect. And that's done gently through open-ended questions. But really what you're talking about is the second part that we're going to cover in just a second, which is closing them when you are there. And because you don't want to close the door on them before you even get to give them your full value. Right? You don't want to say like, well, I'm pretty sure what you're saying is going to cost you $10,000, not $5,000. So we probably just shouldn't even waste each other's time. When if you would have gotten in the door and really heard them out and shown them the vision, they very well might have done 10. But you close the door on that right off because you're like, oh, I don't want to waste my time. So yes, there is some valuing your time and pre-qualifying them, but really you're more just focused on what is that future vision of theirs, as long as they are not totally pie in the sky of, I'm going to do this all for $30, come on over, then you just want to get in front of them because you probably already know, and if you don't, and you started tracking, I'm positive, because it's all of sales are like this, there's a direct correlation to how many homes you visit in person to how many sales you do. And that's, some of them are going to be wasting time, some of them are going to be slam dunks and everything in between. And the more appointments you go on, the more successful you're going to be. Okay? So you want to make sure that, yes, you're not taking them just to take them and bring your conversion rates way down because you're so good at converting, you're meeting with people that you shouldn't. And you don't want to go the other way and your conversion rates are too good, right? You shouldn't have, I sign 90% of people or 95% of all the appointments I go on turn into actual deals that we close, because that means you are weeding out way too many in that first stage. And you're leaving a lot of opportunity. You're only taking the low-hanging fruit and you're leaving all of the other opportunity there. Okay? So, but let's go to where you are painting the picture of that value. So same thing, we're going to basically still have an opening, and what he calls this in his newest book is the work before the work, kind of figuring out what you're going to say ahead of time, because when is the worst time to figure it out?
Raise your best sale.
That's right. That's right. When you're saying it, that's right. That's right. And that's what most salespeople do. That's why it's great that we're all here working on it ahead of time. But yeah, so this is how you're going to close your sales pitch too. You're going to talk about your past. Hey, I've been in real estate for just over 10 years. In that time, I've helped hundreds of families from foreclosures all the way to luxury properties and multi-million-dollar commercial properties. Recently, I've been helping a lot of people with single-family homes just like yours. And just this last week, I helped a family, present, get 50 parties through and 6 offers at a property. How would you feel if that's what happened with your home and you got top dollar and got this goal and that goal and that goal accomplished? What if that happened for you? When should we get started? And you'll be able to adapt that to yourself too. Because I'm sure you have a long line of past successes and accolades.
Similar projects is what they're explaining.
And then you bring it right to the, like, well, that's great, you were doing that 10 years ago, but bring it to the present. This is what I'm doing right now. And then this is the future that we're going to paint together.